I've got a clip of Wendy Day talking with Stretch McCoy about mastering music management, and in this segment, they talk more about balancing life and work. Now, these two people are experts in the industry, and when I say industry, I'm talking about music. However, of course, we know that anything learned from different industries can be applied and transferred in terms of skills, in terms of mindset, so on and so forth, that'll get you to where you need to go. Let's take a look at what they've got to say about this topic, and we'll go from there.
How do you balance your life, or do you balance your life is probably what I should ask.
Mhm.
Are you a workaholic, or do you have a life? How
Oh,
do you
I for sure have a life. The thing is like I- this is when you come from a real place and do real things, you understand. Like somebody I always say this: the industry is fake, but the money's real, and that's all it comes down to. There's very few relationships that are real, and I understand and I cherish and I value those, like yourself. But I'm also not the person that's going to be on the scene or going to the fake parties and doing all this stuff unless it makes sense for what my business is. You know what I mean? And I understand why other people do, and they may have fun, they may have a great time, but I just value doing other things. That's
same?
really what it comes down to.
The industry is fake, but the money is real. Take this as you will. Music is always going to be there to be made, especially with the things that you're doing in relation to your craft. When it comes down to producing content or producing something that can be profitable, that's always going to be accessible. When it comes down to the industry, however, and talking about, going to networking parties, so on and so forth, I think there's this elusive matter of trying to be seen for the right and the wrong reasons, I suppose. So, one, you're trying to be out so often that you're chasing this almost like fame or figurative status within wherever you're going. And then there's also going out and actually developing genuine relationships and connections with people who are going to help propel your career forward. The sentiment that I've heard a lot and what's reoccurring is that a lot of people are here to chase fame rather than the dollars that will actually sustain their career. And so again, I think this is kind of pointing toward that aspect of things where the industry itself, yes, you can navigate it, you can be in it, you can be influential in it, but make sure you're actually doing it in a way that is going to profit you and sustain your career in the long term.
I do this because I love music, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not gonna run myself in the dirt. I don't see myself wanting to retire no time soon or nothing like that. But I also don't want to see. I'm not the type of person that believes you sleep when you die. No, you sleep when you have time. The most
Yeah.
important things in life is love, food, water, air, and sleep. So if it's not those things, I really can't put it in front of it. But like I said, I love what I do. You know what I'm saying? I love the people I work with, and I'm always going to give it my whole. But I'm not going to die for this.
Right,
And I
right.
feel a lot
Or
of people
kids.
see themselves and don't
Yeah.
even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. It took me a long time to learn that lesson, because I just was always working until I burned out. And then it was like,
Mhm.
oh, maybe I need to chill out and have a little more balance.
Now, there's a lot of conversation about whether or not burnout is a real thing or if it's something that we kind of conjured up and are convincing ourselves that we're actually tired and can't do enough work. However, I do believe that there is definitely a point where you need to sit down with yourself and be like, yo, take a break. You feel me? Because there were definitely times last year and really just at a few different points in my own personal career or personal artist journey where I was working way too hard on something and I genuinely needed to take a step back if I was going to make any more progress on whatever it was that I was doing. Being able to acknowledge that and being able to look at things from a perspective of like, look, you're going to need a chance to breathe helps out tremendously when you're trying to put together your Google Calendar of meetings, of time to create, time to do work, so on and so forth, time for family, time for personal stuff, time for exercise. It's all crucial. It's all a part of the process, and you cannot neglect yourself. That is a big thing. You cannot neglect yourself.
Is there anything that you've learned maybe in the past 6 months or so that you could share that might help an artist move further with their career independently?
100%. The I know people hear this and it's kind of like intimidating to understand, but gathering, controlling, and learning your data. Because one thing that nobody talks about is these companies have made a lot of money selling your data. So when even you don't have to be independent when you're on a label, they don't have to control your website. You know what I'm saying? You could give them access to a splash page when they need to do things. The terms that when you negotiate that, your data is so important because what people don't realize is there's going to be a life after this music, and there's going to be highs and lows of this. But when you have the information for the people that have tapped into you, when there is these opportunities like Coca-Cola come or when Nike comes, you can say, hey, not only do I want to do this deal, but also I can give you data that can help you with the marketing on how we do this. So, and you can learn more about yourself on where you do shows, what color shirt you like, the affinity for what the people who your fans are. We're in a time where we have access to so much information when we didn't. I come from where we were literally selling CDs out of our car trunk, pressing them up and going to a store, selling them CDs, and I have to hear from them. There's no real time data. Hey, how many people bought it? Well, we bought 200. We sold 160. Okay, that's good. Like I had to physically go there and literally get a sheet of paper to realize what's happening.
To me, this means that the hustle has become easier. However, it has to be more intentional. Now, when you're more intentional with the things that you do, as I was saying before about managing, balancing your schedule and being able to allot time for certain things, this is one of those pieces where you don't want to overextend yourself in your hustle so far that you're doing things in an inefficient way that's going to continue contributing to your burnout. And that point about data collection, so on and so forth, is another one of those points of like, look, if you have data, you are able to use that to your advantage and you're able to be more efficient and more effective with the things you put out in the future. There's a whole lot more to unpack from this conversation with Wendy Day and Stretch McCoy. If you are interested in hearing more about what they have to say, definitely make sure you check out the link in the description, show them some love, and take care. Don't burn yourself out there.